Hello to the chicos and the chicas, I'm back at you, baby. Although my voice is still a little bit iffy, but I'm back to communicating with words. That being said, my cards are still around, so I might actually use them. What are we gonna talk about today? Today we are going to talk about diagnosing your chess. And the reason why this whole video idea came to me is because a couple of days ago I received a comment about one of my videos in relation to my perpetual chess broadcast with Ben Johnson. And there was a question there, probably there were more, but there is one that in particular I remember that I feel like I gave an answer to the question, but I didn't really word it well, or somehow I didn't quite convey the message as best as I wanted to. And that was the question about, actually I don't even remember what the question was, but it was basically when I expressed that I don't like it when a student comes to me with a fully analyzed game and full diagnosis and tells me that I did this wrong, I did that wrong, help me. And a lot of you might wonder, well, why don't you like that? Like, isn't it good if we analyze our own games and try to improve one? And of course, it is great. The problem with this whole issue is that very often, depending on what level you are at, when you analyze your game, you tend to misread things that happen in the game and take it for granted, make conclusions from that decision. And so there is a core decision that was made that was fundamentally wrong, and we sort of overlook that, and so we move beyond that, and so every single conclusion that comes from that point on is totally wrong because we don't go back to the core of the problem. Now, this is something that is difficult to work on when you are analyzing your games by yourself, and sometimes even with the help of the engine. And this sounds like I'm promoting chess coaching again because I'm a chess coach, but actually it's not the case. All I'm saying is that sometimes when someone else looks at your games, preferably someone who is higher rated than you, there's a very good chance that they will see things very differently than the way you do. And that is a massive eye-opener, because sometimes we so get lost in our own thoughts and the way how we perceive things that we are very reluctant to see the same thing very differently unless it's shown to us that it can, and in fact it should be looked upon differently. Quite amazingly, I was collecting material for a different chess project the other day, and I came across a position. The material I was collecting I was looking for material with misplaced pieces, and I came across a post by a chess player posting this position right in front of you. And I'm like, why is this guy talking about misplaced pieces in relation to this game? And he goes, in the game I played, we're talking about a 2000 rated player here, I played knight g5, and after h6 I wanted to go to knight e4, but I realized that bishop takes h2, king takes h2, queen h4 check, picks off the knight, and so I drop back to h3. But now I noticed that my knight was really badly misplaced, and I struggled to bring it back into the game. Any recommendations? And here, this is the post, the blog post. He describes the game, how he got here, blah blah blah, and that the core problem is that it's misplaced knight on h3, and how it should come back into the game. And underneath, there is 4 pages of comments by other people who I'm assuming would be on the same rating level or lower, having a massive discussion about how this knight should come back into the game. And when I looked at it, I didn't even play out the moves. I couldn't. It was a blog post. Like, it was just a diagram. I just read the moves. I'm like, what bishop h2 is he talking about? Like, after king takes queen check, king back, queen takes rook e1, bishop a3, isn't white just totally winning? And I thought, I'm gonna have a look at this. So I set it up on the board, I had a look at it, but I already knew that I was right, not because I am right, but because of it's just screaming at you that in this position there is no way that this is sound for black. And I have spoken about this so many times on my channel, that white here is ahead in every facet of the game. Development, center control, king safety, everything. Every single aspect that can come into consideration when you evaluate a position favors white. It's therefore impossible that an otherwise quite natural move like knight g5 would be bad, and that black would have the right to actually punish us tactically. The whole mindset is fundamentally flawed, and this is what I wanted to model, that he entirely misdiagnosed the whole problem, and he started diagnosing a problem beyond where the problem was. Right? So he moves past knight e4, like, oh yeah, it doesn't work, bishop h2 and blah, and he goes into analyzing knight h3, and like 50 other people join the bandwagon and start thinking about, that knight on h3 is really rubbish, I agree, mate, should come back somehow, ooh, maybe f3 knight. It's like, no, stop. Like, you are wasting your time tremendously, because it's not helping your chess to look into something fundamentally wrong, where in fact very clearly here we have got chess priorities misaligned. So this player's problem is not that he doesn't know how to play with a misplaced piece. This player's problem is A, that he's calling off his calculation too soon, a problem I mentioned in a previous video, but more importantly, he does not have an aggressive, dynamic enough mindset. Way too passive, way too timid, because there is no way that you would not engage with this line and start calculating the possible consequences here. When after rook e1 we gain a fat tempo on the queen, which now has to go, and after bishop a3, good luck black king. White is totally winning. And so what this person needs to do in his chess life is to actually focus on how to retain initiative, how to keep up the momentum of an attack, even when it means that we lose material. And this is a very, very big mindset shift that a lot of adult improvers struggle with, a lot, because they tend to be a group of chess players who tend to be very driven by material considerations versus any other, and dynamic features in their thinking very rarely come into the play, and even when they do, they tend not to outweigh material considerations. Whereas in my world, or the way I perceive chess, dynamic features, aggression, initiative, attack always outweigh material. So you always have to persuade me the other way around, because I'm always willing to give away material for the sake of maintaining the momentum, for the sake of retaining an attack, an initiative, any kind of aggression, whether it be against the king or other weaknesses, it doesn't matter. It's about the momentum. It's about maintaining that natural flow, that we started an aggression correctly by knight g5. There's no way I would, like, I wouldn't even look at this. Like, that is not a candidate move. And this is exactly what I'm trying to emphasize, that here it's a complete misdiagnosis, like totally back to front. He starts analyzing the problem here. There's no problem here. It's already a disaster. This needed to be avoided at all cost. So we can't help you anymore if you start looking at knight h3. So that is a very important point that is difficult, actually, like I said in the introduction, to breach and to help, because very often you will look at your own games, you assess them correctly. Sometimes you won't. Now, the computer occasionally helps. It does help in this case, by the way, because the computer is screaming knight e4 here. No idea how that part got past of this player who made a block spot about knight e4 being wrong here, and so he went to knight h3, but whatever. But there are cases when the computer doesn't help you. And so I think most often you will find that when players are left to their own devices, they are going to find that the way how they see their chess, they will find a tiny detail that they think went wrong. Whereas when you look at somebody else who is a little bit probably better, understands the game more in depth, is a stronger player, if they look at the same problem of the same player, they are far more likely to find something far more overarching, a general issue, which I have already put in words here by saying that white player are not aggressive enough, too much addiction to material, no respect for initiative. These are his problems. It's not that he miscalculated this line. It doesn't matter. He would make the exact same mistake in a very similar situation next time again, because it's a mindset issue. He didn't miscalculate anything. He actually just didn't calculate long enough. And he totally misassessed a position that was rather easy actually to assess, because it doesn't take too long to see that here I have a tempo followed by a king stuck in the middle forever. So that's something else to keep in mind, that it's not the small, the nitty-gritty, the tiny things. Almost always you will find that it's a main concept, a main principle that is letting them down. I'll show you another example, although this is dramatically different. Okay, so we are going to lose this game as black. Student played it, by the way, but I don't want to say too much about this yet because I haven't analyzed it with the student yet. But we play queen b6. We should be playing here d5 takes, and then queen takes d5 as per main line, gaining a tempo on the knight. The queen comes here, bishop comes there, knight in, lovely attack. Black is already better. Queen b6, less good. d5 take, d3. We play bishop c5. Typical case of two problems. One, knights before bishops is a super basic chess principle which we had no reason to override. Two, bishop c5 forces the opponent to play the move that they wanted to play anyway. Guarantee you that if we look up at this game and we go look at bishop c5, it's not going to be looked upon as a mistake. Whereas it's a tremendous problem here, that instead of doing what's chess principally correct and fundamentally desired, knights before bishops, we are developing a bishop, oopsie daisy, I don't know what I did then, to a square, where once again we are forcing the opponent to play the move they want to play. Excuse me, not to mention that after knight c3, knight a4 is going to kill us whilst e4 is hanging. So we are already in trouble. I dare say this would go past the keeper if it wasn't someone else pointing it out. Bishop c5, d4, we drop back. Castles, h6. I don't understand why h6 is necessary when we can just go here. But okay, whatever. Clearly we are afraid of bishop g5. Note how we are falling behind in development, by the way, because we did this, we did h6 now, so things are not looking particularly rosy. But yeah, knight c6 is just, oh, why wouldn't you? Bishop g5 hangs b2. Right? And whilst I am not really big on grabbing pawns like this, even if I just go bishop e6, this doesn't worry me. It's f5, f4, h5, h4. That actually strengthens my center the way I see it. And again, it's a misevaluation that we will have to talk about with student, that why would I care about this being a problem when in the meantime I can develop, and this does not hurt me at all, but helps me in fact to pursue my agenda with f5, f4 or h5, h4. And castle here, of course, any day. Refer back to double pawns video, because I guarantee you that here the argument will be that I didn't like the double pawns, and I will be like, why not? What is exactly not to like about these pawns? The fact that they can go forward, or the fact that they give us a g file? What's the problem? Anyway, moving on, we played h6, knight c3, and we played castle h3, absolutely unspeakably terrible. Sorry, can't find any other word, total waste of time. We play bishop d7. These are the moves that I just can't ever understand where they come from, because we have a principle to develop. We have another principle, that knights before bishops. So you literally have to force yourself to not play knight c6 here. And in order to not to do this, especially when you heard the previous principle 700 times, which is what I do with my coaching sessions, then you really have to come up with an amazingly valid reason why this is not only not best, but actually bad. because that's what fundamentally chess principles tell you to do. It's a no-brainer. I call up Magnus Carlsen now in Oslo and show him this position, and he will tell me knight c6. So I call up MVL in Paris, and he will tell me knight c6. I call up Hikaru in Louisville or wherever he is, and oh, St. Louis, sorry, and knight c6 it is. No matter the strength, anything at all, chess principles are here for you to help you out of many problems, especially when on uncharted territory. Yet we play bishop d7. Now I guarantee you that if I show, if this student or this player goes through this game and looks at this position in dismay, realizing that bishop f4 next is going to kill them, and they try to analyze what went wrong, there is a rock solid chance that here bishop c5 is not going to get a mention, that it was really unnecessary and in fact not good. h6 is going to go down as, oh, I totally had to do that. Not the case at all. In fact, the direct opposite is the truth. Bishop g5 takes f6 is a bad idea for white, so we are preventing a blunder. And then bishop d7, which hopefully would get a mention that, yeah, maybe that was a bit sus. But so here you can see how easy it is to fundamentally misdiagnose your own chess. What's the solution? Like I said, this video is not designed to promote coaching, but I do not see any other way. Like I said, if you have a friend or someone who can have a look at your games who is a lot better than you, that's the way to go. But in the end, it's very difficult in chess to be on your own and improve and analyze your games efficiently and effectively. Because even when you see the right idea with the help of the computer, the computer is not going to tell you that overarching idea that I did tell you in the previous game, that our friend, client, whatever you want to call him, her, don't know, has a too passive mindset. No respect for initiative, no respect for attack. The computer doesn't tell you that. I gave you a diagnosis that is correct for that person. Now we know what to work on, how to move forward. We know that here we still need to hammer home basic chess opening principles. Knights before bishop, develop, move forward, stop playing bunnies, these things. Again, the computer tells you individual moves, how they are bad, but you don't draw the conclusion that my chess opening fundamentals are actually non-existent, or they are very shaky, at least. And so this is why diagnosing your problems is a big issue. And I wish I could have answered Ben's question back then when we did this interview, whilst presenting these two games, so that there is a crystal clear understanding of why I think it is often problematic when students come to me and tell me that my chess is wrong with this. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that if you want me to coach you, it would be better if I had a look at your games and told you what was wrong with your chess, perhaps. But anyway, it's not about me, it's not about coaching necessarily, but it's about having the right person or the right mind to tell you what's wrong with your chess. Very difficult to do by yourself. I've never done it myself. I've always had the fortunate situation to have a coach who always guided me the right way. So this is a toughie. I really don't know what to say other than, you know, try to ask more experienced people every now and then, especially when you play a tough game, to help you understand better what part of your game is actually breaking down. Hope you guys find it useful. I'll be back with you. Oh, this is hard. I'll be back with more soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.